Hi friends, today we will discuss Python classes and objects, right? So let's start. First we will see the introduction. So Python we all know, हम लोग जानते हैं Python object oriented programming language है, right? It support object, right? Hi friends. And class is a user defined blueprint, right? Class से क्या कर सकते हैं, multiple objects create कर सकते हैं. Then class provides a means of building data and functionality together, right? क्लास में क्या कर सकते हैं, डेटा फंक्शनलिटी टुगेदर कंबाइन कर सकते हैं. ऑब्जेक्ट क्या है, इज अ कलेक्शन ऑफ डेटा एंड मेथड्स, राइट? ऑब्जेक्ट is a collection of data and methods, right? Class are created by the keyword class, right? So this is the basic introduction. Then this is the syntax. So this is the class keyword, right? Then it is the class name. Then we will write the statement, right? So we can write here the statement. Then we will see how we can create a class. So we can create a class by using the keyword class, right? Suppose this is the class keyword and we specify the name of the class. Suppose my class we take, right? Then colon, then specify the properties and method. Here we can specify, suppose this is the property, this is the allocation variable, and now print my class once. When we run this, you can see this is the class, right? So this is the class dot my class, right? Here you can see that. So this is the my class, right? So this is the property x equals to 10, right? If we want to access this variable x equals to 10, then we have to create the object, right? So how we create the object, right? So let us see how we can create the object, right? We can create object by using, suppose we take obj, simply name the obj is the name obj, and then class name my class, right? So this is the name of the class, then parenthesis, right? So this is the name of the class. Here we are creating the object. So this is the object, this is the name of the class. We are, right, creating the object in this way. Now we can access the this value, right? We can access this value obj dot x. So here you can see the 10, the value is 10, right? Value is 10. So so here we created the object of this class my class. My class is the name of the class and obj is the object. We created the object of this class, right? And now here we are accessing this class value x equals to 10. So in this way we can access the, we can create the object of the class, right? Now we will see the init function. Init functions, all classes have a function called init function, which is always executed when the class is being initiated. Use the init function to assign values to object properties or other operations when the object is being created. Right. Use the init function to assign values to object properties or other operations when the object is being created. Suppose in this example, suppose we create class, suppose create class like suppose we create a class, suppose any class name you can take. Suppose we take info, then colon, then create a function, init function, right? I init, right? So self is always present in the function or methods, right? So we take any parameters like country, suppose we take country here, then colon, right? And now we can access self dot country, self dot country equals to country, right? And now we will create the object of this class info, obj, then obj is the object names, you can take any name. Then class, we are creating the object of this class info. Now we will pass the arguments, suppose we are taking country, so we pass the arguments as India, right? Then we can print obj dot country, right? So in this way we can create write initiate function, right? Init function, right? So this is the class name info, right? By creating using class keyword, right? And this is the object name, this is the object of the class info, and this is the init function using def is the keyword to create functions in the Python. So self always as the first parameter in the function, always it will be always. The second parameter you can use according like any whatever your needs, right? Then x write self dot country like equals to country, so right. So this is the properties, right? So this is the init function. Now we are passing the arguments India in the info, and here we are printing the object dot country values, right? So once you run this, you will see India is the country. You can take one more parameter, country and capital. Suppose if you take capital, right, and then you will have to write self dot capital equals to capital, right? And you will have to pass the argument value here, capital New Delhi, right? Now you will have to create another print obj dot capital. Now it will print the value India and New Delhi, right? So you can see India is named, New Delhi is printed. So init function is called automatically every time when the class is being used to create a new object. So in this way we can use the init function. in the class, right? So this is the use of, right? And a self parameter is a reference to the current instance of the class. It is used to access variable that belong to the class, right? So is the first parameter, self parameter, right? First, it would be the first parameter of the instance, right? So here we will learn rename the named self, but it has to be the first parameter in function in the class, right? Suppose in the same in the same in the same example, if we rename this self parameter to myself, suppose we take myself, then we will also change here myself, we will to change here myself, right? So here what we are learning, we can change the first parameter self to other name also, any other name you can take here, but you will have to change here also, right? So once you run this, you can see the result India and New Delhi, right? So in this way you can change the self parameter, right, to any name to you can change. Then object methods. Object can contain methods. Methods in objects are functions that belong to the object, right? So class, suppose we take this example, below example, also if we take the same example, suppose we take new example, class, my class, suppose we take info, suppose we take info as the class name, right? And def init function, call the init function, pass, suppose we take city, suppose we take as the parameter the city, then colon, then access this is the city, self dot city equals to city, right? Now we create a function, we create another method. Here we are seeking learning method, how to create the methods, right? So method, suppose we are creating the method, suppose we want to create method details. So this is the, suppose we are creating this method details, right? Now we are print self dot city, right? And now we will create the object of class info and passing the parameters argument value as city, suppose Delhi, we pass and call the function that is created, object dot details, right? So this is class name and this is init function and this is details method, right? Method and function both are like do the same things, right? So city is the parameter. Now in details method we want to print city, self.city. Here we are creating object of info, and Delhi is the argument value, and object dot we are calling the details method, object dot details. So it will print the Delhi. So now Delhi is printed. You can see Delhi is printed. Right, and modify object properties. You can modify the properties of objects, right? Suppose you want to what is object, or you modify the property of objects, right? So how can you modify object dot, what is the property, city? You want to change into some other name, suppose you can take Mumbai, right? So now it will print Mumbai, not Delhi. You can see Mumbai is printed. Mumbai is printed. Mumbai is printed. So in this here हमने क्या किया यहाँ पे, अब what we are learning, we are changing the properties of object. So it is changed Delhi to Mumbai. Next, delete object properties. We can delete the object property also by using del keyword. Del object dot city. Once we run this, you can see info object has no attribute city, right? So object property is deleted, city is deleted, right? So in this way you can delete the properties of object. Next, you can delete the object as well, right, using del keyword. Delete del obj, right? So now name obj not defined, so object is deleted. Next is Python inheritance. So it will discuss tomorrow. We will discuss. Not today, tomorrow. So let us see the introduction. Inheritance defines a class that inherits all the methods and properties from another class, right? Inherit the properties from one class to another class. Properties, method and properties. The class whose properties are inherited is known as parent class. Parent class को आप base class कह सकते हैं, क्योंकि super class or simply class, right? The class which inherits the properties of other class is known as child class, that is derived class, subclass. The main use of inheritance is code reusability, right? The type of inheritance are single, multiple, multi-level and hybrid. So 4 types of inheritance: single, multiple, multi-level and hybrid. 4 inheritance are there, right? Now first we see the parent class. Parent class is simple in this example. So you can say this info is the parent class, right? Parent class, so you can say this is the parent class and this is the method, right? So simply you can check in this example also, right? So this is the parent class. And child class, if you want to create the child class, right, suppose you want to create a child class child. If you want to create the, suppose this is your parent, suppose in case, suppose this is a parent, suppose this is parent, and we are creating child class, right, and simply we are creating a method here. We are creating a method def info, right, info self, and then print self dot city, self dot we are, right. So if you here pass as the parent, if you pass here the parent, then you can access the property of city. Now you can create the object child. You are creating the object of child, passing the argument as you're passing the argument. Now call the method obj dot info. You are calling the info method, it will print Delhi. So it will print Delhi, right. So here this is the parent class, this is child class, this is init function in the parent class, and info method is in the child class. We created the object of child class, and why you creating child class, we can access the parent class parameter value, right. So in this way, this is the, in this way we can create parent child class. So this is the child class, this one is child class, right. So now we will discuss some other days. Thank you.